Stevie Nicks has been a major rock singer for a long time, known for her ethereal presence and emotionally rich songwriting. At age 76, her legacy is built on decades of chart-topping hits, iconic performances, and deeply personal lyrics shaped by the relationships and experiences that have followed her throughout her career. But behind the music and mystique lies a less well-known part of her life that revolves around a strong, long-lasting love she rarely talks about. Now Nicks is opening up about the person who left her for the first time. This man inspired some of her most famous songs, and she never really let go of him. In the 1960s, Stevie Nicks and Lindsay Buckingham met at Menlo Atherton High School in California. Their first meeting led to a deep connection both professionally and personally, which helped shape the future of rock and roll. Their relationship, which was full of creativity and complexity, became as powerful as the music they made. While they were still in school, they performed together at a senior event, showing a natural vocal synergy that hinted at the legendary partnership that would follow. After graduation, they didn't stay together for long, but 2 years later, Buckingham asked Nicks to join his band Fritz. This was the start of their career in rock music, and soon they were opening for big names like Jefferson Airplane and Janis Joplin, thrusting them into the exciting high-stress world of 1960s rock music. As Fritz started to fade away in the early 1970s, Nicks and Buckingham became closer. They went from being lovers to a duo expressing their feelings and passions through music. In 1973, they released their first album as a pair called Buckingham Nicks. The album didn't do well at the charts, but it set the stage for their future and caught the attention of Mick Fleetwood, who invited them to join Fleetwood Mac in 1975, which was a big turning point in their lives. Brought new life to the group, but it also put a lot of stress on their relationship while they were working on the groundbreaking album Rumors. The stress of sudden celebrity and the intensity of their creative process started to weaken their relationship by 1976 when they were recording Rumors. Nick and Buckingham's relationship reached a breaking point, but the pain of their breakup inspired some of the most famous songs in rock history. Nick wrote Dreams, a sad song about their honest struggles with love and loss, were shown in their music and millions of people connected with them, making Rumors one of the best-selling albums of all time even after they broke up romantically. Nicks and Buckingham continued to work together in music even though it wasn't always easy. The tension between them became a trademark of Fleetwood Mac, adding energy to their performances and complexity to their songwriting that captivated audiences. After her crazy breakup with Buckingham, Nicks went through a lot of fame and artistic growth. It was during this time that she met J.D. Souther, who had a short but important role in her love life. Stevie Nicks and J.D. Souther met in the busy Los Angeles music scene in the early 1970s. Souther was already a well-known figure in the country rock scene, having written some big hits for the Eagles and making a name for himself with his own music. Nicks had just broken up with Lindsay Buckingham, and Nicks was riding high on Fleetwood Mac's success when she met Souther, who knew what it was like to be in the spotlight. The chemistry between them was electric. Both were known for their emotional performances and heartfelt lyrics. Their connection went beyond physical attraction, tapping into a deeper artistic bond. Even though their relationship didn't last long, it was based on a love of music and respect for each other's creativity. However, the music business that brought them together also posed some problems. The 1970s music scene was dominated by men who often pushed women to the sidelines or only saw them through the lens of their relationships with male musicians. Nicks was determined to make a name for herself as an artist, but she had to deal with these problems in the industry while also figuring out her relationship with Souther. She noticed that male artists like Souther got special treatment and respect that female artists didn't get as often. Their relationship grew, and she kept fighting against these restrictions by using her growing power to support herself and other women in the industry. Her relationship with Souther seemed to make her more determined to get noticed for her talent rather than her romantic relationships. Even though they were only together for a short time, it had a big effect on Nicks's artistic growth and Souther's musical expertise. The way he connected with people in the music industry opened Nicks up to new ideas and chances. Their relationship, both personally and professionally, was a big part of developing Nicks's unique voice as a songwriter and artist. After they broke up, Nicks wrote a lot about her experiences. Songs like After the Glitter Fades and Has Anyone Ever Written Anything for You are often played at memorials and other events. Nicks has always kept her sources of inspiration a secret, but this part of her life is thought to have had an effect on her music. After the initial excitement of her short relationship with Souther died down, Nicks became involved in what would become the most complicated relationship of her romantic past. Her relationship with Mick Fleetwood was a key and complicated part of her personal life, closely linked to the tumultuous and artistically rich dynamics of Fleetwood Mac. This relationship had an impact on the media. Their relationship began in the turbulent atmosphere of Fleetwood Mac in the late 1970s, when the band was at the height of their fame thanks to the success of their seminal album Rumours. However, personal relationships were breaking down below the surface. Stevie Nicks had just ended her long-term relationship with Lindsay of Buckingham while Mick was in a relationship with Jennifer Hudson. There was a lot of emotional turmoil and creative energy in Fleetwood's marriage to Jenny Boyd. Nicks and Fleetwood were they couldn't stay away from each other and blurred the lines between their personal and professional lives, which led to a passionate but complicated relationship. Nicks and Fleetwood's relationship was intense and full of ups and downs. It happened during a time of crazy tour schedules, long studio hours, and constant attention from the media and their bandmates. This relationship really shaped Fleetwood Mac's music. The emotional roller coaster they went through gave their songs a real raw sound that really spoke to people. Fans loved it, but it caused a lot of drama in the group. The other members had to deal with the fallout while trying to keep things professional. For Buckingham, it was especially hard to see his ex-girlfriend with another band member. Like many relationships that start in such a chaotic place, Nicks and Fleetwood's relationship wasn't meant to last. Just because they were dating no longer meant they couldn't stay close. Nicks and Fleetwood had to figure out how to keep working together in Fleetwood Mac, turning their relationship into a strong friendship and musical collaboration. Things weren't always easy, but it showed how dedicated they were to the band and each other. After having a rough patch with Fleetwood, Stevie Nicks became interested in another famous musician. It was 1977, and Nicks was riding high on the success of Fleetwood Mac's huge album Rumours. Don Henley, the drummer and co-lead vocalist of the Eagles, was also at the top of his game when these two music stars met. Right away, both Nicks and Henley were known for having a magnetic stage presence and a knack for expressing deep emotions through unforgettable songs. They made a great pair because they both loved music and knew what it was like to be famous. But the intense passion that brought them together also ended in their divorce. Juggling the demands of their bands and the challenges of being in a public relationship caused a lot of stress, as did the crazy touring life. The temptations of being in the spotlight and their strong personalities made things pretty unstable during this fast-paced relationship. Nicks got a surprise that changed everything. She found out she was pregnant. This news caused a roller coaster of emotions and hard decisions. Both Nicks and Henley were at important points in their careers with busy tour schedules and responsibilities for new albums. The idea of having children was appealing, but it didn't seem to fit with where they were going after a lot of soul-searching. After much thought and pain, Nicks made the difficult decision to end the pregnancy. This was a deeply personal choice that would have long-lasting effects on both Nicks and Henley. It was also a turning point in their relationship that would affect how they interacted with each other for years to come. As a result of this choice, their relationship slowly fell apart. The stress of what might have been and the fast pace of their careers were too much for their new love to handle. When their time together ended, it would still be felt in their music. Stevie Nicks and Jimmy had a special vibe that mixed their work relationship with a personal connection that really shaped her music journey and the music scene in the early 1980s. Nicks was already a rock star, and I was just starting out as a producer, having worked on her first solo album, Belana. There was some serious chemistry between them. Ivine had a knack for understanding and enhancing Nicks's unique sound, and his drive matched hers. As they worked together for long hours in the studio, their professional relationship began to become more personal. The making of Belladonna was a turning point in both their professional and personal lives. The late nights they spent making music together, their shared excitement for making something special, and the closeness of the creative process fueled their growing attraction. Nicks saw Ivine as more than just a talented producer. He was someone who really got her artistic vision. As their relationship grew, it added more layers of complexity to the work they did together. Ivine's influence on Nicks's music became more clear, helping to shape the sound that would define her solo career. Songs like Edge of 17 Inches and Stop Dragging My Heart Around were standout results of their partnership. But their relationship wasn't always easy. Nicks had to balance her duties to Fleetwood Mac while starting her solo career, and I was busy being a top musician. It was hard for them to balance a romantic relationship with a professional partnership in the high-stress world of rock and roll. Despite these problems, their relationship was still important as they worked together professionally. As their personal relationship changed, they were able to walk the fine line between their past closeness and their ongoing work together. The end of their relationship did not mean the end of their impact on each other's lives. Irvine became one of the most important people in the music business by co-founding Intercope Records and later playing a key role in the creation of Beats Electronics. Nix continued to ride the waves of fame while dealing with personal problems. In 1982, while Nix was having success with her solo career, Robin was tragically diagnosed with terminal leukemia while she was pregnant with her first child. This terrible news hit Nix hard as she knew she would soon lose her best friend as Robin's health got worse. She devoted herself to being there for her friend in her last moments. Robin's husband Kim Anderson was also very sad, which led to a strong connection and a decision that would later be seen as a misguided attempt to honor Robin's dying wish to care for her son. Nix and Anderson decided to marry quickly just 3 months after Robin's death. Their friends and family were shocked and worried, and many saw it as a hasty decision made out of grief rather than true love. Nix would eventually confess that they got married to keep Robin's memory alive and to be a mother to their children. The strong bond that formed after they both lost a loved one started to weaken, showing their differences. Nix loved the freedom and excitement of her rock and roll life, but it started to feel like too much responsibility at home. On the other hand, Anderson had a hard time balancing Nix's busy career. They decided to split up after only 8 months of marriage. Getting divorced in 1984 was an important event in her life, full of passion, challenges, and a bittersweet ending that left a mark on both of them and their music. They started dating in the late 1970s when they were both at the top of their careers. Nix was rocking it with Fleetwood Mac and her solo stuff, and Walsh was already known as a great guitarist. What made this relationship special for Nix was that she felt like she had a true partner in Walsh. They were both thriving in their own careers and came together with a lot of respect. They became close because they both loved music and pushed each other to be creative. Nix often called Walsh her soulmate, which showed how much she cared about him, but fame and their own problems made their relationship difficult, and after a few years together they decided it was best to end it. Even though they broke up amicably, their time together had a huge effect on Nix's life and music. Walsh stayed a close friend and confidant, and you can still hear his voice in Nix's songs. Looking back, Nix liked that her relationship with Walsh was equal and supportive, unlike other relationships she had been in where there was competition or power struggles. They really got each other as artists and as people dealing with the pressures of fame. Their journey was full of intense creativity, with Walsh's guitar skills inspiring some of Nix's most heartfelt songs. Even as they dealt with addiction issues together, their bond only grew stronger.